And that's going to continue to trickle out as they continue to publish more games on PlayStation and Nintendo, with most likely here on the June 9th event. I'm wondering if they're going to just, I don't know. I think they're going to kind of tiptoe around the issue and just keep gamers kind of guessing, because ultimately the trump card they have in their pocket and have had this whole time is Xbox is a Windows machine. Steam is a Linux machine. That's why one of the reasons why they couldn't get so much adoption. They're doing much better with Steam Deck, so there's definitely an opportunity for that. But I would just say, like, oh, we're just a PC that just conveniently hooks up to your TV. We're not a quote unquote what you have defined as a console up to this point. It's just we're just a mid-range PC that you can run on your computer. I mean, on your TV. What do y'all think?
So I think that, to your point about Xbox tiptoeing, they definitely don't want to play their cards too much to show anything that would make the longtime Xbox fans get more upset, right? They want to make people happy and excited about these games.
Woo.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to do. Like, they're in a tough place right now. So I think we're going to see a lot of games announced, and I think games that we already historically have seen to be multi-platform. Like if the new Doom does get announced, I think we'll see that to be multi-platform as well. Yeah. I don't know if we'll hear anything hardware related.
The hardware at a minimum, I think, is 2026.
Yeah.
And so we might hear about it more in 2025. I just wonder, like, are they going to just keep dragging, like, because they're going to be announcing more games are coming to PlayStation. I think Starfield with its Shattered Space expansion makes sense that they're going to launch that on the PlayStation at that time. And then it's going to be fun to see everybody's opinion shift about that game dramatically into the positive.
I disagree. I don't think they'll launch it with the expansion. I think they'll wait until slightly after the expansion that way they can get all the sales on Xbox, and
you don't pick up that many sales. That's one thing Square Enix has learned a hard lesson. They cost, with their exclusivity on time for PS5 for Rebirth, they probably cost themselves in a couple of million units sold, because that hype train has now left, and people will be excited, so they will sell a bunch on PC, but not as much as they would have.
There's a difference though. Rebirth won't be selling with DLC. This will be selling with DLC. You're more likely to compare it with 16 than you are Rebirth.
Okay.
Like they will want the double dip of people buying the Xbox DLC, and then later on they'll announce the PS5 version with the DLC included.
Weston chat, one second, Mark. Weston chat says that Microsoft already has contacts with Steam, and Steam gives Microsoft everything they want. There's already integration that Xbox has. They've been publishing their games on Steam. The one thing they don't have on Steam is Game Pass, and I could see whether it's a purchase or we're like whatever kind of move is to say, like, we want to have Game Pass integrated as many places as possible, because that would then increase the overall value of Game Pass. Imagine being on Steam with Game Pass, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is great. Because right now, if you want Game Pass PC, you have to go into the Microsoft launcher. I've long speculated they'd use Battle.net, though, but we still haven't seen any developments in that front. What do you think, Chris?
Phil has been very open about being platform agnostic. He wants to be in as many places as possible. They're a software company. He wants to be in as many places as possible, and anybody that wants to come to the table, he wants to come to the table. So he's willing to work with Epic. He's willing to work with Steam. He's willing to work with anybody. And the history has proven that. The only thing that you don't know about Xbox is where you get to keep working with them if your studio gets acquired. That's it. That's the only group of people that Phil's not working with, is the big giant layoffs. And some of that had to be expected. Like we talked about that last week.
That's not shocking news.
It's sad, but it's not alarming. So I think likely that you're going to see strategic partnerships instead of acquisition when it comes to Steam, because I don't know that the IPs that they're trying to get specifically, and I don't know if there's, like, the advantage of Activision Blizzard was King.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think King was the true thing that pushed it over the edge. There isn't something like that. There isn't a vertical that Steam has that Microsoft isn't at least competitive in.
The only thing I could think of is whatever profit margins they lose by selling Microsoft games on Steam, right? It's really a distribution thing, though. You're right, though, Chris. Like, it's a distribution thing. It really is a matter. And to that point, Chili, about your point about antitrust, like it would be a different division of antitrust law. It'd probably be more similar to what the US went against Microsoft based on Internet Explorer, and I think the EU did too, where it's like your distribution channels being monopolized.